contra as historias do homem que começam no Cabo Finisterra, o mundo não datado, não rubricado, sem Napoleão, sem Piedade.
With the very little I know about Brazilian culture and the very little I know about anthropophagia and this ongoing reflection about how do we change the world by taking back control of technology? How do we fight for our individualities? How do we fight back for humanities in a world where technology as a whole has been turned against us? Appropriate technology, like eating it, this is anthropophagia.
This convergence between technology and humanity to a point where you cannot untangle it, you cannot distinguish this anymore. And on one hand, we think of our humanities, we eat and drink and fuck and sleep and whatever, and on the other hand, we think of technology, when this is not possible anymore. We drink and eat through technology, we fuck through technology, we sleep through technology, we learn, love, live, work through technology. And this is this mix between the two that I think should be at the heart of our reflection. Get humanity out of it and take back control of technology. This is where maybe the analogy with anthropophagia ends.
This is technophagia. And this is a rupture with the existing paradigm. This is a rupture with colonialism mentality. This is a rupture with the vegetable elite. And this is a profound rupture from the past.
We have to decentralize everything because we know that information is power and we know that concentration of power leads to catastrophe. My revolution won't be televised. My revolution won't be centralized. It has to be decentralized for tactical reasons. My point is, A, we have what it takes to start this sharing of knowledge and controlling technology. B, it is about a social movement. We need political actions. We need Marco Civil all around the fucking world. We need better than Marco Civil. The third part is the social-cultural aspect of it. We need cultural movement. We have people in the 1920s who said, fuck it, let's do it, and let's do it our own way. Where we start with humanity, where we start with community, where we start with primal instincts of what define us, and we do something, and we're talking about them 100 years after. We should start the cultural movements, the social movements that will bring the social change, the political change, the technological change that we want. It is about reinventing representation. It is about reinventing politics. It is about reinventing participation. And ourselves, we have to reinvent it by putting the human first, before the server, before the software, before the machine. And this is anthropophagia. Down with memory as a source of custom, the renewal of personal experience. People trust Facebook, people trust Apple, people trust Google, and we have to reinvent trust. We have to reinvent what it takes to look at someone, relate to someone, and say, yeah, take my money, know who I am. Let's share the most secret, the most precious things together. That is based on the instinct. That is based on the carnal. That is based on the very core of our humanities. And I think this is what we have to fight for today. Taking a bit of text, whether it's a legal text or a political text, and work your ass off to produce something hard and concrete that would prove your point to the further apart from you of your opponents. The face of oppression in the late 20th century and early 21st century radically changed. from the early 20th century, where oppression was led by the state, we now see a model, obrigado, where oppression is a mix of state and companies.
The controversy continues.
The traditional left, the self-defined anarchists, and people like that were not prepared to. That nobody was prepared to that. The transformation of the internet into a machine for oppression, states alone couldn't do it. Companies alone couldn't do it. But the alliance of the two is something even more powerful than what we've seen before. Now those companies are globalized. They have strategies that go on a global scale. They start something in one country, then boom, 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 domino effect, and they impose their views on a global scale. One thing I know for sure is that we have only one global tool, us citizens, between our hands today. This is the internet. So if we can have one force that will counter this alliance between public and private, it is through this global, universal, unrestricted network. And this is why we need to protect it as a primary fight, as a primary objective, as a primary struggle. I think that we are entitled by the status quo of delegating some of our power to the state. Whether you consider it's been done in a legitimate way or not, we have those institutions that concentrate some of the power we delegate to them. So I think we can use this concentrated delegated power for public interest, because they're supposed, in the first place, to work for public interest. It would be a terrible strategic mistake to miss this occasion, because those institutions are there, and if we don't hack them, if we don't use them, they can turn really bad and do really bad things, and that we can do this in parallel. We cannot trust a company, we cannot trust a product, we cannot trust a fucking logo. What we can trust is a human being. Is when two pairs of eyes meet, and for some reason, some energy, something, trust happens. When we talk about privacy, we talk about intimacy. Intimacy is who you truly are, is who you are inside, is who you are when you are in full trust, either alone with yourself or with somebody else. It is when you are naked, when you have no barriers, when you're not playing a role, when you do not have clothes on yourself. This is the very core of who we are. This is the essence of our humanity. And this is what is at stake today. This is what some paranoid, evil people want to control, because they're afraid of dying, because they're afraid of terrorism, because they want to earn more dollars or whatever. But this is what they want to control. Googles know all about your sex life, your love life, what you buy, how much you earn, who you know, where you go. Google knows all about, more than your mom, more than your closest friends, about who you are. And this is what we need to take back, because this is at the core of these intimacies. This is at the core of these humanities. You think you publish to the world, but you publish to Facebook. This is suboptimal. We can publish to the world. We have the fucking internet. You think we chat together on Facebook, but you chat with me, with Facebook, with the NSA, with Booz Hamilton Allen and the 1,000 companies. 950,000 people in the US have a top secret security clearance that give them access to the program PRISM, and therefore give them access to all private communication on Facebook. You think you chat with me, You chat with 1 million people. Then comes the point of getting late. And I'm really serious about that because this is about searching what you don't know. This is something we cannot really easily do if we do not centralize. Because of course, if you know everything about everyone, you can answer these questions.
If you don't use decentralized services, if you don't use software libre that belongs to everyone and that everyone can control, and if you don't use end-to-end encryption where people manage their keys themselves, if you don't do this, you will be screwed. Technology will control you, you will not control technology.
We're now in a point in history where we could work on the same tools as what the bankers need, as what the government of Brazil and Ecuador need.
All those technologies, software libre, end-to-end encryption, and decentralized services, actually are made to be learned.
Fuck. It is a model for a society. It is a model for a society where computers are everywhere. And it is a model for a society where those computers being everywhere should always be under control, or else they will become tools for oppression.